Welcome. Seventh blog? Vlog. Blog. Vlog. I don't know what it is. I don't know what you call it. But we're on number 7. I've done this 7 times. I just got out of the shower, so I look like a drowned rat. Ignore that. Losing my voice because of the mold in my apartment. It's always good. Today we're going to be talking about... It's going to be sort of like the idiot's guide to depression. If you've just been diagnosed, or if you think you may have depression, or you're just not feeling good lately, you have no energy, bad breakup. Basically, if you have a suspicion that you do have depression, these are tips from a person who's been living with depression for 15 years. I actually wrote stuff down for this one because I thought it was really important. So, I'm going to break this video up into 2, I think, too, because I have a feeling this is going to be a long video. My first piece of advice is be quick to recognize... Well, that's an interruption. Be quick to recognize that you are not just sad, you are depressed. Okay, that's super important. Depression will last months. Sadness will last days, maybe a week. With the sort of exception of breakups, things like that. Obviously, you're going to be sad about that for a while. But if you are not able to get out of the constant sadness and the not motivated, low energy, withdrawing from your interests that you used to be interested in, or your friends or your family, if you're isolating yourself, if you're not bathing, if you can't get out of bed, these things are a huge sign of depression. Sorry about my phone. I'm going to just shut that the fuck up. Recognize it. My second piece of advice is, once you've recognized it, give into it. Don't kill yourself, obviously, but give into it. Give it its time. Let it take you over. That's fine. Stay in bed for a week. You have to hit a point where you have to say to yourself, okay, this has to change. And the only way you're going to do that is if you give in. I dropped out of high school. I quit my job. Obviously, this was after a number of traumatic events in my life. And my brain just went kaputs because all in 1 year, I had so much that happened to my friends, my family, myself, that my brain honestly just stopped working. I went from having a very good childhood to... My cat's trying to get in the shot. A very good childhood where I got a lot of attention to and a loving family and yada, 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 to learning the truth about my family members, watching a family member die, a lot of other private stuff I don't want to really say, but it stunted me. It was like a very big trauma all at once. So for the whole year of 2005, I became agoraphobic, which means I couldn't be around people. I couldn't leave my apartment. All I did was eat, sleep, cry, watch Cosby Show reruns, watch... I became so obsessed and enamored with The Lord of the Rings that at one point I could speak Elvish because I couldn't face what was going on. So I relied on TVs, movies, media, anything to escape. Do that. Give into it. Wrap yourself up in anything comfortable. If you have to overeat, do it. If you have to play video games all day, every day, do it. Because that's part of the process of depression. don't make yourself feel guilty, because that's something that I still do, so I should take my own advice. When you're at home alone, like I said, watching the Cosby Show reruns on TBS, this is going back, and then when the commercial hits and you look at the time and you say, fuck, 11 o'clock, all my friends are still in school right now, they're on lunch, I could just walk up to the school right now and see everybody, I could give it a go, I could do this, I could do that. But you're not, because you're a failure, you're a loser, you're this. That does not help. So don't do it. Just, you're going to have to hit rock bottom before you even try and climb out. My pieces of advice for climbing out: small steps. If you have to just take a walk around the block, or don't even go that far, if you have to just get up. What I used to do was, I started with showering. And then when I got out of the shower, I knew I wasn't going to go anywhere, but I put on some makeup. Okay, feel a little better. That was my day. That's how I started. Go back to sleep. You didn't go anywhere, but it made you feel better. Then I gradually went to get up, eat, put on makeup, put on some clothes. And I lived in an apartment complex, so I'd walk around the parking lot. That was it. Because I was agoraphobic, I didn't leave my house. So that small step was like a huge step for me, and I was so proud of myself. Then I started taking the dog with me, and I would only focus on pretty things. And I still do this to this day too. I don't know, like I take so many pictures of flowers and bugs and all kinds of shit, because to me, nature is the last innocent thing. Nature doesn't want you to fail. Nature doesn't swear at you. Nature doesn't call you fat. Nature isn't ugly to me. So every time I see a flower or something cute, I will take a picture of it. Always, always, always be honest with your friends and family. This is a big one too. Because if something happens to you, they'll want to know what went wrong. And if you don't tell them that you're struggling, they're not going to know. My mom was absolutely clueless in the beginning, because she had no idea how to handle it, because she was handling her own stuff at the same time. So don't ever hide from your friends. If you make plans with your friends and all of a sudden the day comes and you don't want to do it, my biggest thing is that I would just avoid them. And I got sort of labeled as a flake, and then they stopped inviting me places, which hurt even more. But I learned now to literally say to my friends, sorry dudes, I'm having a bad day. And sometimes they'll insist because they're your friends. They don't understand. And sometimes even when they insist and they just show up at your door, it's nice. You're thankful, because there's actually people who care and they want to hear you. So always be honest about what you're going through with your friends and family. Walks in nature, I've already kind of said that, because that was a huge thing for me when I was going through it at my worst. And even to this day, like if I'm having a super bad day, I'll go over to Riverside Park and I'll just watch the geese or the water. When you have depression, you're kind of forced to be alone. You do it to yourself. And that's good, because you learn a lot more about yourself and your own needs, and you pay attention to more what you should be doing for yourself. Eliminating drama from your life is another good thing. I know it sounds stupid. Yoga is helping me a lot too. I'm not saying go to a fucking world gym or anything. That's ridiculous. I mean, all power to you if you want to, but I literally just do it in my spare area behind me with a YouTube video going, showing me positions, and I do it in my underwear with the cats watching, because the breathing exercises, the nice music, the zenness, the oneness, it's when you go through depression, tranquility and peace and quiet will be your best friend. Trust me. Also, something else that helped me a lot was watching comedies. Anything comedies. Sitcoms. 90s sitcoms were my savior when I was going through it at my worst. Friends reruns, Seinfeld, Frasier, Just Shoot Me. All these shows, I know they're predictable. We've seen them a million times, but reliving them, it was comfort for me because it was predictable. It wasn't scary. I knew it was going to happen. Still funny. And there were no triggers. There's no triggers in a comedy movie. For me personally, there's nothing that can trigger me. And I know, it's so important to not watch things that are going to harm you. I watch serial killer documentaries. I watch all kinds of gruesome, disgusting shit. But when I'm at my lowest, to be completely honest, I know it sounds stupid, but I watch kids shows. I watch Fairly Odd Parents. I watch Kid vs. Kat. I watch SpongeBob, because these are sweet, innocent shows, and there's no triggers. None. Please don't ever think that you're going slow. Too slow. Slow is good when you're trying to recoup from a major trauma. Don't look at your laundry pile that's piled to the fucking roof and go, oh my God, I gotta do it all. What am I gonna do? Don't do that. I had this conversation with my mom today. My mom raised me like the entire week. We would work, we would go to school, we'd eat, blah, 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 blah. Sunday, however, we'd wake up super fucking early and we'd clean the whole house. And I would dread Sundays, okay? It's not her fault. That's how she was raised. But I'm telling you, now that I live on my own, do a little bit day by day, okay? You don't have to do 50 fucking loads of laundry on a Sunday. Do 1 load a day. It's a less load and you get it done still at the same time. But if you do a little bit a day, do one chore a day. Vacuum on a Monday. Dishes, every time you use a plate, do the dishes. Just do it. It's one plate. You're standing in the kitchen putting it there anyway. Fucking rinse it off. It's not a big deal. Don't unnecessarily overload yourself. Just don't. If you don't feel like doing something sometimes, that's fine. I don't know how many times my spare room's been stacked with like 4 garbage bags. Stinks out there. And I don't care. I come home and I literally say to myself, fuck it. I'll do it tomorrow. And if tomorrow comes and I don't do it, fuck it. I'll do it the next day. If the next day comes and I still don't do it, fuck it. It's not like it's never going to get done. Don't force yourself to do something you don't want to do at that moment. Don't pressure yourself and make yourself feel like shit just because you're not in the right mind frame right now. There's tons of free counseling services. If you feel like you need to talk to somebody because your friends aren't cutting it, call them. Lutherwood, the OW office, a lot of people. There's even, part of my package down here for my stupid schooling that I'm going to, which I'll get to. And they gave me a whole package of shit. See what we got here. I'll even give you the phone numbers. Become a volunteer. 6 reasons to volunteer. You can make new friends, prepare yourself for the future, you can gain experience, you can make a difference. Cambridge always has volunteer programs going. The food bank is probably the most rewarding because I've had to use the food bank, well, almost my entire life. You can't do shit all if you're hungry. If you're fucking hungry, you can't do anything. It's a good program. That also gets you out and about, right? That's stupid. That's also stupid. Here we go. A list of crisis numbers. If you feel like you need to talk to somebody, because I used to watch Much Music and I used to watch YTV a lot when I was a kid. I always call the kid help phone because sometimes I was too ashamed to go to my mom with my problems. I was too ashamed. I was too scared of the repercussions. What if she thinks I'm crazy? What if she thinks this? What if she cries? I don't want to make her do that. So I remember 1-800-668-6868 or some bullshit used to be the kids help phone. And I used to see the advertisement all the time on like these channels, and I'd call on a school night. My boyfriend broke up with me, before problems were actually problems. I was calling the kids help phone up until I was like 25 because I had no idea that they had an adult crisis line. So there's crisis lines everywhere. Youth phone line, advocates for male victims of sexual assault. There's toll-free numbers, crisis line here. This is all for Canada or, Ontario. I'm going to put this up actually in the description of the video if you want, because these are really, they're helpful. And I know it sounds stupid and I know you might be nervous calling it for the first time, but these people are like, they will sit there, they will listen, they will make you feel validated, they will make you feel like you're not crazy. And then if they can't help you over the phone, they'll literally say to you, do you need a wellness check? Because then the police will come to your house, they'll see if you're okay, and then they'll give you resources. Or these people will just give you resources over the phone, and it's fabulous. They're really good in a pinch. If you don't want to sit in emergency, for... like if you're having a really bad attack and you feel like, okay, I'm going to do something, I need to get to the hospital, but you don't want to wait in emergency because trust me, it's Cambridge. You're going to be waiting in the emergency. You could have a knife to your throat and they'll still stick you in emergency to sit there. They're really good to call. That one's stupid as well. Yeah, need that. So there's a list here of counseling centers as well, which is really great. Who's eligible? Because I'm on Ontario Works, this is why I'm eligible. It says if you're receiving support through Ontario Works or disability, you're eligible for these programs, which I'm lucky. But if you work, you can probably get better help than that stuff, but you just got to pay for it. I'm not telling you to get medication. I've avoided saying go see your doctor, and I'm going to tell you why. When I was 17, I started having these problems. And because my mom was going through her own stuff as well, she was panicking because my emotions were all over the place. And the first thing she thought is, okay, my kid needs to see a doctor. This is ridiculous. Her behavior is just out of control. All she does is cry. All she does is throw things. She's not going to school anymore. She's not interested in anything that she used to be interested in anymore. She's not seeing her friends. Like, there's something really wrong with my kid. Of course there was. I want medication to be at the bottom of the list, because sometimes you can get out of a slump without the help of medication. Unfortunately, these medications come with horrific side effects, okay? If I go more than I think I made it up to 3 days once. If I go more than 3 days without my antidepressants, I'm on the crapper about 50 times a day. I'm shaky. I'm shaky anyway, but I'm 10 times more shaky. I get brain tremors. My equilibrium is off. Hot and cold sweats, constant. Bawling my eyes out for absolutely no reason. It's like probably like getting off of heroin. You need to be weaned off of these drugs for years in order to get them completely out of your system. And if you ask any fucking doctor, they'll say, "Oh, I don't think this is the time. I think we should just keep you on these pills for a little bit longer." I've asked to get off my drugs about 5 times. And whether that's just because my doctor's a dick or because they're just pushing it, I don't know. I wish that I'd been more educated. I wish my mother would have been more educated about the repercussions of a 17-year-old taking hard drugs like that. Now, with that being said, I very much value my drugs. I value the drugs because I have an imbalancement in my brain that I don't produce enough serotonin anymore. And serotonin is what makes the feel goods in your brain go off. So I need them, and my body is relying on them now, which sucks. But if you can do everything in your fucking power before you turn to this last straw, I'd be proud, because it's like a lifetime commitment once you're on them, unfortunately. And maybe you're stronger than me. Maybe, I've talked to a lot of people who are like, "Oh yeah, I took Cipralex for like, a couple months and then I just got off them because I didn't like them." That's insane, because Wellbutrin put me in the hospital that I was having a heart attack. Venlafaxine is what I'm on now, and it helps, but I'm never really happy, and I'm never really sad. I'm at like this, I'm just like coasting in this sort of whatever all the time. It takes who you are and it warps it. And yes, you'll stop crying. Yes, the suicidal thoughts will be there, but you won't act on them. But there are a million other ways to go about this before you turn to it. I'm not apologizing for how long this video is this time, because it's kind of an important one. Currently, I've been diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. My whole life, I thought I was just anxious and depressed. It turns out that I'm anxious, depressed, ADHD, and borderline personality disorder. So now what I'm doing for that is I'm taking a course through the Cambridge Memorial Hospital, and it's a dialectical behavioral therapy skills group. And basically what it is it's to help individuals who struggle with overwhelming emotions and impulsive behaviors to build skills that support one's own ability to self-manage in an effective manner. In order to get to this class, you have to be recommended by your doctor, and you have to wait a little while to be referred. Now that I've been to 2 classes already, and It's a whole bunch of what I just talked about. You get there, they make you do yoga. They teach you mindfulness. They teach you to think before you speak. They teach you to. My mom's famous line is, Tabitha, read the room, because I say always I'm impulsive. I say things. I have no filter. Foot and mouth syndrome. I got it. Trust me. It teaches you how to be a better functioning, more level-headed, less emotional individual, and I definitely needed it. So far, it's working. And also, super awesome to meet other people who are going through this as well. Because, like the first day, everybody's sitting there and they're like, fuck, why am I here? Oh my God. And the age ranges are incredible. There's a 74-year-old man in the class that I'm in. And there's also an 18-year-old girl. And everybody in between. I wasn't thrilled about the group thing. I really wasn't. But it's growing on me a bit. Because it's nice to know that you're not alone. It's nice to know that, everything that this therapist is talking about in this group, you're sitting there going, oh, it's like such a sigh of relief that I'm not crazy. Nobody's crazy. Crazy shit happens to us. And it's the way we react that obviously makes us who we are. I get attached to people quick. I get attached to people hard. And I'm not even just saying boyfriends. I'm saying like friends who come into my life. I get afraid of being forgotten. I get afraid of being neglected. I get afraid of, I don't know, I'm just afraid of everything. So with a combination of this group, getting a new doctor, always, always, always be confident with your doctor if you choose to do the medication route, because if you have a doctor that's just strictly a pill pusher, you're not going to have any results, anything good. Get a doctor that you can communicate with and that knows about newer medicine. So many doctors will just be like, here's a Prozac, here you go, bye. No, there's so much more now that you can do. I was so against weed. When I was growing up. I felt like it was a personal hit towards me when I found out some of my friends smoked weed. Can I tell you, I smoke weed maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks now. I'm not like doing bong rips or anything or fucking shoots. I'm telling you, I'm doing just one hitters. And I don't enjoy the high, but I like just that feeling. I like being able to just unclench my fucking ass for 3 seconds and clear my mind. It's so valuable to me. Beginner's Guide to Depression. Acknowledge it. I'm going to miss stuff, but I'm going to try and go over what I said. Short form. Give into it. Acknowledge it. Give it time. It's okay. Bury yourself in Cheetos and Zelda. That's okay. That's what I did. My foot's asleep so bad. Oh my fucking God. Okay. Nature's so important. I'm not going to push religion either, but if you read any pagan Wiccan, God, help me. I have so many Wiccan books because I love it. I love water. I love the sun. I love the earth. I love trees. I love flowers. I love animals. That is me, because it's innocence. It's the only innocence left. Take pictures. It'd be a horrible talk show host, wouldn't I? Yeah. Alone time. right? Small steps. If you've ever seen the movie What About Bob with Bill Murray, I used to watch that all the time when I was depressed. I highly recommend that movie when you're depressed. It's funny, and it's also an amazing, amazing mantra. Baby steps. Don't look at the entire picture. Say you have to go to a wedding or something. Don't think about the wedding. Can you just get up and shower first? Showering is not scary, right? Small steps to the bathroom, you know? Do everything small. Do not overthink about the goddamn future or the big picture. Small steps. Medication. Last thing. Comedy movies. Yep. Yoga. Meditation. Alone time. Do not make yourself feel guilty. I can't sum up the last 15 years of my life. I can't. I wish I could. I wish I could tell you all that there's hope for everybody, that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. There's no guarantee that there is. I've had a lot of people suffer with depression in my life, and I've lost about 6 of them. I've lost them. But you have to sit there and think, what am I living for? Maybe you have kids, right? Maybe you have pets. Stupid cats. The only reasons why I'm alive is my cats and my mom. My mom, especially right now, you know, she needs me and I need her. And I would never want to inflict that kind of pain on her. Right? You wouldn't want to do that to your friends and family. Some days you want to. Some days I think to myself, you know, all the people that I've lost to it, like, do they know something that I don't? Is it like some sort of weird exclusive club up there that I'm not aware of, right? But then you try and shake those thoughts out of your head. No. You know, they would be mad if I joined them up there so soon. If you have an emergency, go to the hospital. If you can't stop crying, go to the hospital. If you think that you want to slit your wrists, go to the hospital. If you don't think it's that bad that you want to go to the hospital, I will put up the phone numbers in the description because they've helped. I've called a bunch of times. Trust me. Yeah. I think that's it. Can't think of anything else. It's been a half an hour. Half an hour. The things that keep me going are music, my cats, my mom, nature, and maybe the hope that I'll get out of it. I know there's no such thing as normal. I'll never be normal. Nobody's normal, but maybe one day I'll be a little better. I'm already so much better than where I used to be, right? I'm no longer 195 pounds drinking soy sauce on my mom's couch watching Cosby reruns. I'm a lot better now. I'm so much further than where I was. So much further to go, but it's a good spot. I like talking. Anyway, I'm so thirsty that I'm going to drink this lemon water, even though there's a fruit fly in it. I think he's actually still kicking in there. Yeah, it was fucking gross. Anyway. Okay, I'll put up the crisis numbers in the description. And thanks for listening. I hope it helped. Painting, too. I paint sometimes. Painting and drawing. There's a lot of people in my group that draw. They have those coloring books, the mandalas and the, and they just sit there and color. They don't want to talk. A lot of them do it, so it must help. Incense, too. Just lighting some incense. That relaxes me, too. Candles. Sometimes just sitting in my living room with nothing on. Like, not naked. Well, I mean, I could be naked, too, I guess. But I mean, like, no lights, no TV. And just listening to the outside traffic. Having the kitties lay on me. It's like heaven. Find your own peace. Excuse me. Find your own peace and stick with it. No matter what it is. If it helps, it helps. Right? I can't talk long enough about this subject because it's so important to me. It's been my reality 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, even when I'm unconscious. And I never, ever, ever thought I would be this person. I used to be so functional when I was younger. It was ridiculous. I was so social and I was good in school and I was tons of friends. I almost want to say that I was popular at one point. And then reality strikes you, right? Like a fucking bolt of lightning and you just stop in your tracks. And at first it's so hard because you say to yourself, what the fuck is wrong with me? Like I was normal last year or I was normal a week ago and, and for the longest time I was chasing that person. When I was like 25 still even, I used to say to myself, I wish I could, why can't I go back to the person I was when I was 17 before everything happened? And that's what I was trying to do. But you can't do that. You have to, that's why I'm trying to tell you to acknowledge what you're doing, acknowledge what you're going through, and acknowledge the fact that you're never, ever going to be that person that you used to be. This is reality now, and you have to deal with it. That's what sucks. Pieces of you can die, but you can keep marching on, eh? Okay. Well, that's a 38-minute long video. I feel good about this one, though. It was a good one. Good tips. I hope they work. I hope maybe even just one of them worked. Don't become alcoholics or drug addicts or anything, though. That's not good. That's the wrong way to deal with it. I didn't deal with it that way, thank God. I just got really fat and stopped talking to my friends. But if you need to do that, that's good. And the true friends that you have will understand why you're doing it. And the true friends that you may have, like I said, will force their way through anyway. I used to have a big, huge friends group of like fucking 50 people. Now, maybe like 5. And those 5 are pretty fucking stubborn bitches. I wouldn't have it any other way. But you meet new people too. Meet new people who are probably more important than some of the ones that you've lost, which are great. It's a good surprise. Anyway, don't stress. If you smile long enough, you start to become happy. It's a scientific fact. If you just sit there and just force yourself to do this, for some reason, you'll start smiling on your own. Medication, last resort, okay? All right. I think 40 minutes is long enough. All right. If you've survived this long, you're awesome. If you haven't, I totally get it. All right. Okay. I guess send me some more discussion topics. I like them. I like hearing that. And I'll try and give you my expertise. Okay. Signing off. Bye.